We're talking about Ground Branch. Let's go. Before 1033, Ground Branch wasn't really a game I was playing a ton of. It was something I had in my library and that I would jump into on occasion, but it wasn't a daily driver for me. When 1033 hit, it honestly rocked the world of Ground Branch. And I don't think that was just for me. I think that was for a lot of the player base. That was when they recognized Ground Branch as a big player in the tactical genre. And now that the new has worn off of 1033, people are looking to Ground Branch wondering, what's next? And they've released their update to that in the Steam news, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. What is coming in Ground Branch version 1034? All right, so here it is. I'm going to have a link to the Steam page for Ground Branch down below, so you can also jump into this and read along if you'd like to. And I love this little spot right here. This report is not an exhaustive list of the V1034 updates. That's what I like to see. They're not going to be throwing out just a couple of big buzz updates. They're not going to be throwing in prone just because they know we want that. They're throwing in prone, but also a lot more quality of life updates, little small things that we don't even notice, but they do hinder our experience on the back end. It's good to see that they are acknowledging that it's not just the big buzz that they're talking about, it's also some stuff on the back end. Pretty neat. Scrolling on down here, people, this is what we've been looking for. Going prone and more animation work. I am so glad to at least see pictures of prone happening in Ground Branch. It's something we've wanted for so long, so it's good to finally see pictures of it at least. But anyway, one of version 1034's most notable features will be the first iteration of the highly anticipated prone stance, in which characters drop to the ground on their stomachs and move around by crawling. Lead programmer Chris and animator Mike have spent a lot of time and effort navigating the considerable complexities of Ground Branch's true first-person system, and the prone system is now ready for a little showcasing. And these are the first images we're seeing here. I love the caption here. Folks, it's real. They've also got some crazy videos here of the reload animations that they've been working on while prone, and I love it. So this first video we're taking a look at is the reloading of a pistol from the prone position. What I like to see here is there is an attention to realism. If I need to reload that pistol while I'm in prone, I need to be able to reach my fresh magazine, which requires me rolling onto my side to be able to reach my kit. That little bit of an attention to detail is absolutely phenomenal. Moving on down here, the prone stance will offer the lowest profile, making you harder to spot and a smaller target in most situations, while also boosting weapon accuracy by providing the most stable of all three basic shooting stances, standing and crouched being the other two. Now, there's a little spot here that I want to put some focus on, so if you will jump in with me here. The prone stance will offer the lowest profile, making you harder to spot and a smaller target in most situations. I want to focus on this spot right here. Them throwing that in makes me think maybe that's not an accident. Maybe the fact that harder to spot, maybe they're gonna start integrating a little more of the AI having to do some work to actually see us. You know, in our last video, if you haven't seen that, I'll throw a card up here, but in our last video, we talked about how they're moving with Kythera AI to start working on the enemy's behavior when we're playing Ground Branch. When I see something like my physical position in the world might make it harder for them to spot me, makes me think there might be some work being done on the back end already, such as the enemies having to actually pay attention, maybe camos actually having an impact on, you know, detectability. Now, I know that's really getting lost in the weeds of this update. However, when I see that kind of thing, I can't help but get hopeful. Sorry, devs. Guys, if you like tactical games and gameplay, then you have found your home here in the Deliberation Room, and I would like to extend an invitation for you to join this family of Milsim gamers. Everyone here in this community is absolutely awesome. It's an ever-growing community. I love to see it. We do live streams, we do updates, we do mods, we do, you know, cinematic gameplay. We do it all here, guys, and I think you'll love being a member over here. So, jump on in. Let's get back to it. Here's the result of Mike sacrificing his IRL knees in the name of science during last month's mocap session. Now, mocap is short for motion capture. They are actually integrating some motion capture of, you know, actually doing these things in order to move them into the digital world. So it's good to see that little bit of extra effort being done versus just a, you know, download of a asset from Unreal Engines. Well, I'm gonna watch that again. There's no way that felt good. So I do respect Mike for his dedication to the craft. Though it comes with a stealth and accuracy bonus, prone is also the slowest stance. See, once again, they're throwing in mention of stealth.
Coincidence? I think not.
Stealth hasn't really been a thing in Ground Branch games yet. So now they've mentioned stealth here, and they've mentioned stealth Up here, talking about making you harder to spot. I don't know. We might be getting some AI updates here. Anyway, moving on. Prone is also the slowest stance. Not just to move around, but also to perform actions such as reloading. That makes sense. Changing weapons and equipment, looking and aiming around. For reference, the prone pistol reloads above are roughly 1 second slower than the standing or crouched variant. Let's be honest, the prone stuff is more of an upgrade for those who want to improve the sniper feel of Ground Branch. So it's understandable that you're going to have a slower reload. No one expects a sniper to have a, -second reload, right? Totally understandable. Moving on down again, we have more upgrades to animations, which will include equipping and stowing additional primary weapons on and off the character's back. Now, what I'm assuming by additional primary weapon is that we'll be able to carry an extra primary. Now, there's always been that special purpose slot in the character customization on Ground Branch, and I wonder if we're moving our primary out of the way so we can start using whatever that may be. If that's the case, pretty cool update. However, just as cool, we might just be able to now carry like an MP5 if we're running a sniper. We might just be able to have a second weapon. So, interesting to see. Moving on down, we have some secrets from the devs. Says they have a new map on the way. They're not disclosing too much at this time, but John has a smaller map project going called Hideout. Here are some sneak peeks. And here we've got a couple of images. Looks like more of a, almost like North American map. That kind of nature, like that kind of woodline, like looks, what I'm kind of used to. So I kind of like the look of that. They also mentioned down here is the caption that for any ideas about the possible setting or theme, drop them in the comments. And I'm going to extend that same thing to you guys. If you have any ideas of what this map could be, throw them down in the comments. Moving on, chasing that quality of life. In each update, we tried to include some quality of life changes to make your gaming life a little bit easier, often based on community feedback. When it comes to a mission setup, we have new features coming to 1034 so far, and they're going to start listing them here, beginning with object and insertion randomization. In game modes with randomized insertion extraction points, search areas, hotspots, etc., you can now click the refresh button on the ops board to re-roll them. Don't like the choice of hotspot in your terrorist game or the search areas and intel retrieval? Not a fan of the team elimination spawns for the next round? Just click on the button in the ops board either in Lone Wolf or as a server admin to see if you like the new picks better. I absolutely love this from a content creation side. I know that might be unique to me. Just excuse my cap. Anyway, because when I was doing the stack video for Ground Branch, I was having to reset the map every single time in order to get the intel retrieval that most closely matched the storyline kind of deal that I was going for. So the fact that they're introducing that for me on the content creation side is absolutely amazing. And just for you guys, if you've got a plan of how to attack a certain map and it's set to that certain way it is with the intel, it's annoying to have to kind of change that every single time the intel spot changes. Special role volunteering. Feeling like you always become the hostage? Do you want to place the flag and DTOS, but you never get the chance? We feel your pain, and that's why we're introducing a volunteer button in the roster menu. Simply click the button and you'll be volunteering for any special role associated with the game mode. Only volunteers will then be considered for the very special role. If no player volunteers, then the role is picked at random like before, though in all cases, game modes always try not to pick the same player in a row. Also, this is pretty interesting. Server admins will also be able to, well, volunteer other players. Is that a thing? Volunteering other people opens new browser tab. I hope you found that that definition most closely resembles voluntold. It's a typical thing in law enforcement and probably the military. Yeah, voluntold. It's a real SOB. Now, fortunately, I do not have color blindness. However, that is something that affects a large portion of the gaming community, so it is good to see that they're introducing color blindness support to the game. This next section here, speaking of quality of life, we've managed to fix two very special bugs that you have no doubt grown to know and love. Yes, we have. The first one being unable to set the enemy AI count, the expected resistance on the ops board. Yes. There's been several times where I wanted more or less, and I had to reset the whole map in order to make that work. And also moving option sliders, adding 1 to the number that you wanted. Sorry, we let those slip through, everybody. To hear a developer say sorry is such a breath of fresh air. That is sad. It shouldn't be like that. However, that's amazing. Having that little bit of a personal connection to a dev where they're open about that. Hey, sorry we let that slip. We're working on it. We're working on a lot of stuff. Sorry. Awesome to see. Anyway, outside of that, let's keep moving. We have helmet cam. Head and body cams are all the rage these days, and since we always wanted to make it a spectator mode camera, we're going ahead and adding a spectator helmet cam perspective to version 1034. It may or may not eventually replace the regular first-person spectator camera, depending on feedback and practical implications. This helmet cam looks absolutely phenomenal, even to the point of the lens flare that happens from those body cams. Having run with one several days of my life, it really does have a specific fisheye, weird glare kind of view to it. They've gotten better over the years. However, this is a perfect representation so far of what they genuinely look like. So it's pretty cool to see that. It's going to help me a lot on the content creation side when I'm, looking for other angles to make the video more entertaining. So I'm really excited to see this, and it being implemented as a spectator cam is all the more better. So great addition. Looking forward to it. Moving on down, we have a radio pouch. In version 1034, we're finally adding a radio pouch to all vest platforms. VoIP radio is a default feature in regular play, so the radio pouch is a fixed, non-removable item, though the former aspect isn't necessarily set in stone. A lot of the mods coming out have already been including this similar radio, so it's kind of cool seeing that become part of the vanilla game. VFX Grenade effects continue to be iterated on, and VFX artist Charles got to a nice spot with the frags. Now, I do want you to notice that in this version, we can even see small debris bouncing off the ground. So let's watch that again. Oh yeah, that's absolutely phenomenal. Look at that. He's gonna throw another one here. You can see the little rocks and pebbles bouncing back at him. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Now, as you guys know on this channel, modding is a little bit of our bread and butter. We love talking about mods for Ground Branch, Ready or Not, and all the other tactical games out right now. This is a fantastic tidbit to see if you are a mod developer. Cal, one of our programmers, has been making good progress on the Ground Branch SDK and Steam Workshop integration. He's already got a functioning test mod into Steam Workshop, and servers and clients will soon be able to download mod updates automatically from the workshop. We're planning to stagger the development of the SDK so as to not delay updates. Version 1034 should see the addition of weapon mods, while maps and other kinds of modding will follow in later releases. Now, when I started really getting into modding was back with Ready or Not, and I remember when Ready or Not decided to embrace their modding community by going with mod.io, and that upset a lot of the community. A lot of the community felt mod.io wasn't, inclusive enough. It wasn't easy enough to operate, and it looks like Ground Branch used Ready or Not as a little bit of a test fire on what does the community want, and that's why they're going with Steam Workshop. Steam Workshop is used in door kickers for downloading custom maps, and it is pretty easy. I mean, really, all you do is you open up Steam Workshop, you hit the little plus sign, and that mod is in your game. So that, on top of the addition of the SDK, which has been long awaited by modders such as Modern Lancer, is going to catapult this game's modding world into a whole nother era. So guys, that's it for the update. I hope each of you took something from this. Please comment below what you're most excited about in 1034, and I can't wait to play it. I hope you guys can't either. I hope you guys stay safe. Please stay happy, and peace out.